fine. Well, we can go ahead and start. My name is Catherine. I wasn't able to join you guys last month. I had the flu. But so I am the Vice President and Compliance Officer for MARR. So a lot of you see me when you have a site review due each year. So, or in a pop-in. So today I would like to start off with recognizing the Operator of the Month. This year, the Operator of the Month, or this month, the Operator of the Month for December was actually Oshki Maaji. Did I say that right? Ashley?
Yep.
You want to talk for a few minutes about your program? Congratulations.
I'm gonna let Colin talk about it.
Okay.
What would you like to know? Our program's doing very well.
Okay.
You're a tribal only community, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And where are you located and what kind of makes your program stand out?
Lawrence, Michigan. I think the support we offer our people, rides, if they do have troubles, we offer to allow them to come back into the inpatient facility.
One of the things that we have here is we're kind of we're inpatient residential treatment. We have our residential sober living, and then we have outpatient treatment as well. So we're KBSC SAP, so the community substance abuse programs. So as a whole. This is Colin Van. He's the administrator. My name is Ashley Shellifer. I'm the compliance officer for KBIC SAP. And we oversee the program as an entirety.
How many recovery beds do you have?
Recovery beds, we have 12 over at Oshki Maaji.
Okay. So if anything goes wrong, it's Colin's fault, right? Is that what you told me before?
Exactly.
Just checking. Just checking, Colin.
Yep.
Make sure I wrote that down. So you're a tribal community.
Yes.
Do your homes just work with tribal people in the tribal community, or do you work with referrals from outside your community as well?
We work with referrals from outside of the community as well.
Okay. Right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I'm very impressed with your program again, and it's nice. It was nice to see everything's a little bit different. It seems like every program does something a little bit different. And I think we have a question. Nate, you have a question?
No, he was just clapping.
Oh, you were clapping. I saw this hand like slowly
There's
going
multiple
up my
reactions
screen.
on the platform.
Oh, awesome.
Is there any
Anybody have
questions?
any questions for Ashley or Colin about their program or what they run or how they do things?
I'm very proud of them.
Yes.
They do the running of that. I just oversee it, and I'm very proud of Ashley and Emily. Emily's not here today. It's a snow day.
Ah,
So
yeah,
I
you
went,
guys get a lot more snow up there, don't you?
yes.
Yeah.
I went and picked Ashley up this morning, so she didn't have a choice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Well,
I pick up some of the employees on snow days, actually.
probably be a snowmobile, huh?
Oh, big truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That's
Well,
one of the
thank
things.
you.
That's one of the things we have here at SAP is we have lots of really safe vehicles. So, and our CEO lets us take them home when the weather's really bad, so we can get if we have to come in when the weather's bad, we can get here.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice. Well, thank you for all you do. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for it's not an easy job, we all know. And but I appreciate what you do and
Thank you.
representing the NAR standards in a great way. So keep up the good work.
Thank you for all your support and for choosing us, and
Yeah.
we love what we do up here.
Yeah, that was evident. It was definitely evident. So awesome. Wally, do you have anything that you'd like to bring up today? You're muted, Wally.
Okay, that's probably because my phone was ringing off the hook. Um, yeah, I think I just wanted to mention that. I mean, Kayla had sent out an email to everybody, and it's in regard to a MSHA grant that may be coming through later on this month sometime. I don't think it's actually active yet, but and I don't think Glynis is on yet, but she had another opportunity for a grant for recovery housing. And I'll talk to her later and maybe we can just email everybody the information about that. And the only other thing I wanted to mention was I don't know, 12692 from Battle Creek, right? Had mentioned about drug court stuff. And we have a meeting that we're having, that MARR is having with the Drug Court Association later on this month. They requested the meeting. I think they want more information um, about recovery residences in the state of Michigan and what we do and how we do it and all that kind of stuff. So we're meeting with them, and I'm kind of pretty excited about it because I think I think they're looking at expanding. Um, it's what I hear. I don't know this for a fact, but that they are looking at the possibility of expanding. Um, and they need help doing it. The recovery residences in the state of Michigan, especially in areas that aren't being well served right now, where they have a drug court, but no residences. So we're pretty excited about that, and I understand that they have some good funding available. So that's always a good thing to hear, right? Especially in this environment that we're in right now with some of these grants that don't seem to be pushing through very quickly because I don't think people know quite how to manage them or where the funds are coming from or how they're coming from or when they're coming and stuff like that. So hopefully that's going to be resolved pretty quickly too. I have absolutely no information on what's going on with the PIHPs or with the CMHs or any of that. I know that there was a lawsuit that was filed by the CMHs and that there's something came out the other day, but that's of course going to be appealed. So it's just ongoing. We're trying to stay on top of the information and get it to you guys as quick as we possibly can. And in some cases, you probably know more than we do. And if that's true, I would certainly, appreciate an email, just letting me know what's going on or letting us know what's going on, so we can pass it on to everybody else and just keep up to date, And we never know when we're going to need or have to take advantage of an opportunity um, to get our message out there, and how we do that and to move forward with what we're doing. So anyway, I think that's about it. We're continuing to do um, certification of RCOs. Recertified one the other day. I got a couple more to do next week, and um, so that's moving forward, not as quickly as it should because there's a lot of funding that used to be available for RCOs and it's not available this year. But a lot of people are still interested in moving forward to the best of their ability anyway. So we're trying to work with them on doing that. Anyway, that's about all I have.
Yeah, Mishta, Zainab from Mishta, reached out to me too and is going to plan on contacting you all if you haven't heard from them already about another recovery housing investment program grant within the next month too. So you guys should be receiving emails about that.
Good. Any questions for Wally? By the way, Jeff won't be joining us today. He's out of state. So we're just going to run the meeting without him today. Kelly, do you have any updates that you'd like to talk about with RECCAP?
Maybe not necessarily updates, but to kind of tie RECCAP in with these funding grant opportunities. They are looking for outcome information. Historically, even the RECCAP is being used in drug courts, and information that they are gathering from that is kind of helping direct where people are going, etc. So just, something pretty much everyone that I see on here have worked with it, get things going. But keep that in mind. That's something really important and a huge factor in your organization using the REC cap work, where it not only helps yourself and your residents, build a plan, stay on top of things, etc., give them a little bit more ownership in their own recovery as well. These opportunities for grants, etc., having that feather in your cap of, yes, we currently use the REC cap system. This is some of the data that we're pulling from that. Has been beneficial across the country in places that they're using this in drug courts and other locations. So while currently we're kind of plugging along using the Behave application with the new functionality outside of the ARM system that it has, those outcomes are pretty much what is coming up for everyone looking for, including SAMHSA. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind as you're collecting that information and building those relationships, that this is also, going to help you and us in the long run be able to apply for more funding and really pinpoint everyone's strengths that we know you have in a more scientific, kind of pinpointed data way. So like I said, there really isn't anything new or earth-shattering going on. We're using the Behave application. Had great feedback on it to this point. As always, if you had questions, concerns, please reach out. And other than that, that's pretty much status quo for RECCAP at this time.
Thanks, Kelly. Let me just comment on that for a second, because you raise a really important point, and that's a lot of bridges are being developed lately, and one of them now is with the drug courts and them getting MARR involved in the recovery residences, and I am real encouraged with that, because it's in this business for years. I've been in for so many years, but it's, they're just all these different silos that are out there looking for their own funding and developing their own procedures and doing this and doing their own work and all this kind of stuff. And to see us all just at least start to get together and build some bridges between what we're doing, I think is very, very beneficial to not only to us being able to provide the service to our clients and the people that we serve, but it also speaks to the development of good data that we can use at the state levels and the federal levels, to show them what we're doing and how we're doing it, and that we are moving forward in some positive ways. Anyway, thanks.
Great information. Anybody have any questions so far? No? This meeting's for you guys. So, Glennis, are you on here, Glennis?
Don't think Glennis is on.
Is Glennis yet?
Been having issues with her Zoom, so.
Kayla, you had some things that you want to bring up?
Yes, more so reminders than anything. I've compiled a list. Let me share my screen here. Can everybody see?
Yep.
Okay. Just some things I want to touch on. A lot of people will know these things already, but they're really helpful reminders because we're still having some issues, and people, not everyone's on these meetings all the time, and we do have some new people on, so I thought it'd be a really good opportunity to reiterate a lot of this stuff. One of them, as of last year too, is the new renewal late fee. We've been having an issue with people not submitting their renewals on time, or waiting to the very last minute or after their expiration date to submit payments, and we've really got to cut down on that. So the late submissions after 5 p.m. on your renewal date will incur a $100 fine, and you will have an additional 7 days from your expiration date to complete the process after that. Failure to do so, if we reach out to you and you're not really communicating with us, or we haven't really heard from you and you're not really you're not doing what you're supposed to do within this grace period, it will result in the cancellation of your certification automatically on day 7 and requiring you to reapply, which no one wants to do that. So you guys do receive reminders. Receive reminders at 60 days, 30 days, and 15 days before your expiration date is due. So we do need your renewals, at least your payment, no more than 30 days. It really should be at like 30 days, 30 or 15 days maybe before you're due that we receive your payment so we can get you on the schedule. We want you to get on the schedule before you expire. We really don't want certifications to lapse because sometimes our site reviews can take up to 30 to 60 days with corrections as well. So we just really want to keep you guys on track with that. Does anyone have any questions or comments about that?
Well, I have a comment that I wanted to make, Kayla, and it happened recently. And it's happened a few times, but we were trying to reach out to an operator and couldn't figure out why we couldn't get a hold of them. But
Right.
either sometimes the operator leaves, but in this case, our contact had passed away. Unfortunately, we had no idea, and the organization didn't realize that, hey, there's a MARR certification and stuff. So things happen, people end up in the hospital, people leave. So it really is important for you as an organization to have a backup plan. So if you're not available, who's your backup? Who else knows that you need a certification, and who else can we reach out to? Because it's important that it doesn't lapse, especially you have funding coming in. You don't want that to affect your organization, but life happens. So it's just important to remember that, because we have no idea. We're usually in touch with somebody, usually it's like once a year when your certification is ready to go. And if we're not hearing a response, we don't really know why. But about what we do, one of our practices is we'll reach out to the organization itself. If it's a large organization, and try to leave messages with different people, somebody will get back to us. But just something to keep in mind.
Catherine, may I suggest something?
Sure.
One of the things that we have to have here under KBSC SAP, we have to have a succession plan.
Okay.
So if anything happens to one of us, our accreditors have to have that information. So maybe that might be something.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of I'm gonna go over this too, in a little bit, but I'm gonna go over how to do contact changes in CertiMe too. In CertiMe, there's a spot to list multiple different contacts as well. A lot of times we really only have one contact for the organization, so we'll have to if we're not able to get hold of that person, then really all that's left is to try to Google you and see if there's another email or phone number to try to get a hold of people. But yeah, I'll go over that as well.
Yep.
Any other comments on this particular thing? Okay. I did want to reiterate again our name change, because there's still a lot of people that haven't updated that on their side, and a lot of people didn't realize because the name looks the same, our logo is the same, and it's hard to recognize, but there's no longer residences in our name. We do so much more now as an organization. We changed it to resources. It's Michigan Association of Recovery Resources, and we need you guys to update your insurance documents. So at the time of your renewal, some people have done it already, and I received the correct one, and that's great. But yeah, internet's unstable. Yeah, all of your insurance documents need to be updated with that name change, because we need to be listed as additional insured / certificate holder on your insurance policy. Which takes me to my next kind of topic, which is your insurance documents. I really wanted to go over this again, just to kind of make sure everyone's on the same page, because again, you still get a lot of the wrong things submitted back to us. So the insurance document that we need is your certificate of insurance document. And I'm going to show you an example here in a minute. But MARR also needs to be, like I said, listed as additional insured / certificate holder. Your commercial general liability should be checked on that document. That's the kind of coverage you should have, with a minimum of $1 million, ideally. All residences should also be listed on your certificate of insurance or on one separate page. So here, let me try to move this little. So this is your certificate of insurance document. This is what we expect to receive on Certami. So it'll say certificate of liability insurance right on the top. Your commercial general liability, this box should be checked. The amount of your coverage is listed here, the 1 million. It's not about if you're going to be sued, it's going to be when, you know, there's always going to be things that come up, and we also need to be additionally insured because of that potential risk. Our name and address should be listed here under certificate holder. That's where additional insured people go. And then this is usually where your residences are listed. Usually it's here or on one separate page. There will be a list of all of your residences. They all need to be submitted to show that they are under your insurance and on the same coverage. Home insurance is not enough. So if you're relying just on home insurance, you need home insurance is great. A lot of people own their homes and need home insurance also, but you also need the commercial general liability insurance. This is very, very important. Does anyone have any questions, or Catherine, do you have any like additional comments on this?
Well, this is also known as the declaration page to insurance companies.
Yeah, that's also been like considered wrong in a couple of instances. The declaration page meant something else, and they kept sending me the declaration page when really it's the certificate of liability insurance is what's at the top. So
Okay.
that we were having issues with that. That's why I only call it certificate of insurance now. But
And that's updated every single year. And if you have any changes with your programs, you know, remove an address or make sure that you're updating your insurances. You got to make sure that Certami is updated, but you want to make sure that your insurance is updated because you don't want to pay on an address. Well, and make sure when you're adding addresses, there's several places that are adding homes. Make sure that you're updating your liability insurance as well, so that those homes are covered.
right.
Hey, Kayla.
Yeah.
Would you be able to send me that Word document you have up here?
This one?
Yeah, the MARR reminders up there.
Yeah. I'm actually
Like-
we send out post-meeting follow-up emails after every
Perfect.
single one of these meetings,
Yeah.
and I'm going to attach any documents that we utilize and
Perfect.
go through anything that we talked about. And this
Thank you.
meeting also is recorded and will be on our YouTube channel as well, which the links for all of that is also in our post-meeting follow-up.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will have this
And-
document on an email.
And the new office mailing address is the Suite 20.
Yes,
47
anybody
Country
that still
Club,
has Suite
Suite
B,
20.
yes, it is Suite 20. That was changed a couple of years ago. So if
right.
no one's updated that yet, you're here behind. But it's Suite 20 now, not Suite B. But the rest of the address is the same.
I have had a couple of folks mention a phone number. So could we kind of go over what's changed with that as well?
Yeah.
I'm not real into the whole detail thing, but
Yeah, the phone number, the office phone number, we used to have something which was kind of because of the office where we're at, they had some kind of like virtual computer. VoIPO is what it was called. It was through VoIPO. Well, VoIPO went out of business, and they were supposed to be able to transfer our number. VoIPO, there was somebody else that was going to take that over, but that fell through the cracks, and we don't have the number anymore. So we tried to go to T-Mobile and different places to try to keep the same number, and we weren't able to do it because the number had been canceled already. So the number that's listed on there now is a 616-558-4958 number. Leave a message at that number, and that's also my cell number until further notice. So people can still leave a message and get a hold of us, MARR, at that number, and leave a message for whoever you need to talk to, and then I make sure that that message gets forwarded to the correct person. So there is a correct number on the website, and it's the 616-558-4958. And you all have our emails as well. Reach out to any of us at any time if you have any questions or concerns. You want to call.
Great.
Okay.
I wanted to go over our MARR website again for anyone new on here. And as a reminder, our website is michiganaaarr.com right here. From there, just click on the applications and become certified. Everything to do with your certification is under this tab. Applications, become certified. Everything to do with like the certification breakdown, if you need refreshers, reminders, anything about your levels, documents available for convenience. There's everything under here from SAMHSA best practices, our code of ethics, that required insurance document example page I just showed you, that's on there. Social model of recovery explanation, if you ever need that, the LGBTQ final policy, all of those documents are available for convenience for you to download, print off anytime you need them. They'll always be right here. Along with the right below it is the mandatory postings for your residences as well. All three of these documents, the cleaning list, the maintenance repair list, and the recipient rights posting, that should always be in all of your residences at all times, for sure. So if you don't have these yet, definitely go on to our website. Again, michiganarr.com. And then it's the applications, become certified tab.
I'm gonna clarify the MARR cleaning list because there's still some confusion about that. That was put in place in 2023. And the reason that was put in place, that's for the operators that own and run the home. There's more to maintaining a recovery residence than just the daily chore list that your residents do. So this is a MARR cleaning schedule. It was supposed to help with the homes being more consistent with making sure that things were getting done. In the spring, if you need to power wash the side of your home because you got mold all over it, power wash it. Maintain your yard. Maybe you got to take the curtains down and wash them. And there's things that need to be done with a home to help maintain that home. Again, this does not take the place of a chore list for the residents. Can they utilize, kind of get some ideas of different things and how to clean things? Yeah, sure. But this is specifically for the operator to make sure that they're not missing anything. So there's daily things that should be done, weekly, monthly. So, and then the maintenance repair list that was also put in place, and that was to help with more consistency because I was going to homes and sometimes there'd be a lot of things that needed to be taken care of. And sometimes, people got a lot going on, right? We all have a lot going on. Or maybe a resident is telling the house manager, hey, the toilet's running upstairs. And the house manager's job was to make sure that the operator knows, but then the house manager was on his way to work, so he totally forgot. So in the meantime, you got water running in the home, which it could be, a more serious situation that's not being kept up on, and they add up. So next thing you know, you got 10 things that need to be taken care of. So this maintenance list has been a very good tool for a lot of operators. If you already have a great system in place, then you don't need to post it. But if I'm coming in and I'm seeing all these things that need to be done, you need to be utilizing that. It should be posted in your home and educate the residents on how to. That should be posted on a main refrigerator, one main refrigerator in your home, so people know where to look. If there's a light bulb out or if there's a leak going, and who they are. And I believe Preston, you had a good idea. Last year he had brought up that he was concerned that people are going to write on that and not tell him, because the operator should determine, hey, if there's a leak going on, I want to know about it right away. So a good practice is, just a second, could you remove that squeaky toy from the dog? Thank you. In the background. One practice that some of the operators are using, if you put something on the maintenance repair list, also call the operator and say, hey, by the way, I just put this on the maintenance list, so the operator can determine, is this something urgent that needs to be addressed right away, or is this something that can wait a day or two? So, but it also helps for whoever goes into your home to maintain the home and make repairs. They have a place where they can look automatically, and then they can put their name and the date that they completed it. So it's just been a really good tool for a lot of operators to make sure things are getting done.
Yep, and then your recipient's rice posting.
That's a state form. So that's a state form. There's, depending on what location you're at within the state, you know, you're going to have a HP or CMH. Maybe there's these large posters they want you to put up. You do what they want you to do, but this is a state form that also needs to be posted. This is the one form that we look for. Some places have it in their community binder, you know, that's fine, but it also needs to be posted. So code of ethics needs to be posted, grievance needs to be posted, your recipient rights needs to be posted, emergency numbers need to be posted. The maintenance repair list needs to be posted, as well as the cleaning. That needs to be, cleaning list needs to be posted. So, and those are available, showing you, you can, if you don't have them, sometimes they disappear. People are going through and cleaning things up, or they remove stuff from the walls to paint, and then they forget to put that kind of stuff back up. So you can go right here on the site and collect that.
Any questions? Comments? Concerns? Okay. I wanted to bring up our quarterly lessons learned meetings. We're trying out a new date and time this month, which is tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We got like a couple of different times that work for people the best, and 1 o'clock was one of them, and Thursday was one of the days. So we're going to try that out tomorrow and see how many people are able to attend and see how many people that works for. Depending on how that goes, we might change it for April. The 4 months we're doing it this year is January, April, July, and October. So that's when all of our lessons learned meetings are going to be. So if you have any questions about that, or if that day doesn't work for you, then let us know. I have the post-meeting follow-up email that I send after this, has a little survey on it to kind of get the days and times that people are available for things like this. And we kind of just gather like the most and then just kind of go off of that information. So these aren't mandatory meetings. Again, if you're not able to make it for whatever reason, that's fine. But these are for you. This is a great opportunity to just learn different things about how to operate a residence, or to just kind of like bounce off of like your experiences and just tell stories, kind of ask questions, talk about and listen to other operators. And it's really beneficial. So we're excited to still be doing this for you guys, but again, it's quarterly, and I'll send out a notice per usual whenever the next one is. But we hope to see most of you tomorrow for that one at 1 o'clock.
That's a great opportunity for new people too that are learning.
For new
You
people, yeah, any new people
seasoned
on
operators.
Yep, that's a great one. New residences. This is frequently an issue, and almost nobody gets it right. So I thought this would be a great one. I do send this to everybody now. Anytime you get a renewal certificate, I know a lot of people probably don't read my whole email that I send out, but this is actually in every single email I send out to everybody. So everyone should know this, but I'm gonna reiterate it anyway. New residences, anyone that opens up a brand new residence, you have to reach out to MARR ASAP so I can set up a new residence form on your CertiMe profile. Your new residence will need to be up and running with residents for at least 30 days before it can be added to your certification letter as well. We will provide you with a prorated amount to pay for the remainder of your certification year based on the date that you have officially been opened 30 days. And the date of your first intake is what's going to indicate when your 30 days begins. So if you have your first new intake in your new home is April 1st, then you're not being able to get added to your certification letter until 30 days after that. All of this can be, the new residence form has everything on it that I need from you. It'll have the prorated amount on there to pay. It'll require you to update your insurance with that new residence too. It gives you the form to fill out your address and what your population is and everything like that. And yes, once I have all of that, I will send out your new certification letter. Because of some issues, depending on the situation, we may go out and do a site review of that new residence. That won't necessarily be for everybody, but we have had issues with people saying that they are open when they're not. So we are going to have to come up with a new system to just kind of verify whether residents are actually up and running or not. So you might have a site review, or you might just get your certification letter. Does anyone have questions about that or any comments?
Yeah, I was hoping could you, and this might just be my own personal curiosity thing
Mhm.
of how the group came up with these parameters. Because in my head, it feels almost like what comes first, the chicken or the egg,
Mhm.
because agencies require you to be MARR certified before you can use the service. And you're saying, but you have to use the service before we'll certify you. So I
Well,
was just
there's
wondering
nothing
how
for
we
us
came to
to, there's nothing for me to look at. If the home isn't up and running and have people living in it and the home's a recovery residence, when I go there to look at the home, what am I looking at? There's nobody
Yeah.
there. It's an empty house. It's a shell. I can't approve that. There's nothing for me to see. So there
Yeah.
were different places. There was Wayne County, and there was a few other counties too where the operator was getting some pushback. So I reached out to the director, and they were fine, stood, and they worked with the operator on, they were letting them go ahead and, have the funding, even though they understood that we go out there and look at it until it was up and
Yeah.
running. So there's some misunderstanding, but that's why. Because it needs to
Okay.
be a recovery residence and functioning as one. And just because you have a roof and beds, nobody in it, that's not a recovery residence yet. So
Yeah, and people
so
are trying to add empty homes to their certification letters, and then
Yeah.
they don't have residents for months or maybe up to a year. And that way, then our numbers, they're not accurate. We have on our documents that there's a 7-bed home that's under this program, and we're adding to our numbers every month that this home is open, this is up and running, and it's not. We've had tons of issues with that. So we really need to verify that people aren't just opening homes and calling it recovery residence, and then, not actually filling it with recovery residents,
Yeah.
Um,
No,
that's a
that makes
requirement that the state has for us. We have to report every single month how many, beds there are and how many men's beds, women's beds and stuff. And
Yeah.
if it's not up and running yet,
Yeah, no, that makes a whole lot of sense. And I've opened up multiple locations since this policy went into effect. And as you said, Catherine, it might just be a quick little conversation with the agency to go, this is the work in process, this is what's going to happen. And I haven't had any hard walls get put up that's hindered anything. I was just curious because of that whole chicken and egg thing of, well, how does that work out? But
right.
yeah, this all makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, we literally had an operator that only got certified with one home. And then throughout the year they opened up 5. And then when we finally went and saw them, we realized all 5 of those homes didn't have residents in them. So he said that he gave dates and everything that they were up and running. And so we're just gonna have to do a little bit more verification on our end to just ensure that that your new residences are up and running, they have residents. We might have to do a site review, just to verify that, but yeah. Everything we have in place is just because of little things that we've dealt with, so. Yeah. Any other questions or comments?
If we were to move like a residence to a different address, this would still count for waiting the 30 days? Or
I'm sorry, one more time?
if we were
no,
moving an already certified house to a different location?
No, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yep, nope, that happens too. If you open a new home and you're just moving homes, then we just need the new address and we'll just
Okay.
update it for you and send it out. That doesn't count as a new residence.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. One of the last things I said I was going to talk about is just how to add a new CertaMe contact. CertaMe account should always be up to date with the latest contact in charge of your program's MARR certification. This contact should be updated before you leave the program if possible. I know there's a lot of easy handoffs and there's a lot of quick transitions where it kind of like gets swept under the rug and you really aren't, that's fine. We're able to update it for you, but you are able to update it yourselves also. So I did want to show you when you do log on, you have your My Credentials. That's where all of your, that's where your renewal is. That's where any task that we assign to you gets added. It'll load, might not load. Oh, there you go. These are just some test things. But yeah, this is where everything is under My Credentials. If you don't see something, just click Show All. It'll probably be under that list. But everything that we assign to you, everything that you have to do will have a due date and it'll be current. It'll be right here. But if you want to update contacts, this is where you update contacts. You click on your name in the corner, you have your profile details. Personal information is right here. So if you ever need to change your CertaMe information over, you have to contact us so we know who that person is. But then also you can update their name and change your email and add a phone number for them as well on here. And this is also where you update anything about your program as well. Your name changed, if you need to access another copy of your certification, that's always right here. If you send us any insurance documents outside of your renewal, they get posted here. If you have an RCO, your certification gets posted here. When you complete your MARR trainings, that's right here. So you can always access this on all of your CertaMe profiles. You can keep track of your beds and vacancies. We really like this to stay up to date, but I know a lot of people, we do have RECCAP for that, so a lot of people just use RECCAP. But this is also where you can make multiple contacts. If you scroll down your organization contact information, you can list multiple people for us to be able to call and contact if we can't get a hold of you. So that I would love for everyone to be able to log in and fill this out. A lot of them only have one. So if you're able to enter in a few, even if you write in like emergency only or can't get a hold of me or whatever the case may be, that's all right here. And then everything to do with your program information that you enter from your application, that's all automatically generated here. This is your RCO. And then all of your recovery residences are listed here. They get automatically input from your renewal and from your application from what you send to us. So these can always be edited. If you have any information that changes, just make sure you contact Catherine or I also, ideally me, and let me know that you changed some information. But quick and easy, it's always easy for you to access. And then email notifications as well. A lot of these can be unclicked if you really don't want to receive so many CertaMe applications, but your step notifications, your alerts, those should always be checked. Your notification should always be enabled for your renewal purposes. You should always be receiving that information. There's a lot of people that I have to reach out to because those 60-day, 30-day, 15-day notices aren't really getting to you, and I have to send an additional email, which is fine, I can do that, but everyone should be receiving these notices at the time of their renewals. Does anyone have any questions or comments about that? Or what to do in CertaMe, where to access anything? Is it pretty clear? Anyone that, if somebody doesn't get updated, if their contact doesn't get updated when that person leaves or changes locations, then you just reach out to one of us. We just need the name and email of the new person taking their place, and I can usually update it myself. A lot of times with CertaMe, there's different programs, there's different companies that utilize CertaMe. So sometime that email will already be in the system, and then I can't update it myself. I have to reach out to the CertaMe team, and that'll take a couple days to like a week usually for turnaround, and then that'll be updated, and I can just send a reset password link to whoever the new person is. But Other than that,
Great.
all right. Like I
Any
said,
questions for Kayla?
I'll make sure that this is in my post-meeting follow-up email also, just for you guys to have. So.
Personally, I like to see a visual, so I'm glad you shared your screen because that's helpful for me.
Yeah, I'm a very
Otherwise, I
visual
just-
learner also, so I thought that would be helpful.
Awesome. Well, one thing I wanted to, well, a few things I wanted to talk about is when safety and fire safety and some things that I've been seeing pretty consistently when I'm going reviews. The one requirement is that the organization has to show that you're doing your monthly safety check. One way I can see that when I walk in the doors, I can see that you have your fire extinguishers, and most fire extinguishers have the tags on them. Larger ones, sometimes the smaller ones will have a tag on it. That means they're checked annually. Well, those tags, if you have 12 spots where somebody, whoever you assign, the house manager or whoever you want to assign for each home, needs to once a month look at those tags, and they need to look at the fire extinguisher and make sure it's on full. There's a little round now that says it's empty. You want to make sure it's on full. They put the date and their initials. But when they checks, that's also check the smoke detectors, that kind of stuff as well. Does everybody know where to go? Don't assume because you have a map posted that everybody knows that there's a meeting location. There needs to be a designated location. And quite often when I go to a home, people don't know, or they're kind of guessing. Well, yeah, we go out that door, and then I think we go to the parking lot, and then somebody's like, well, no, we go out the back door. It's, well, what if there's a big old fire here and you got to go out a window? There's got to be one central meeting location, no matter how they get out of the home. So that way, when the fire department comes, they know that they can do a head count, and they know that there's not somebody still trapped in your home. So it's really important that people know what to do and where to go in an emergency, and especially for a fire. Again, you've got to have a designation. So do they know how to use a fire extinguisher too? I mean, yes, this is the fire extinguisher, but that use the small fire extinguishers, the little skinny ones, I always share with them that when I used to run homes, counties, the fire marshal came and they said that even though there should be like a 10-year, a lot of those fire extinguishers, they should be able to function. The small ones, the fire marshal found that they don't always work, even though they were a year old. They weren't always replace them every single year in that county. So we just did it for all our homes because, of course, we wanted to know that they all worked. If you need a fire, that it works. So I always recommend that you put the date that you bought, the small ones. You put that, unless you have a tag for being serviced every single year or replaced, you put the date that you bought it, and then every year just replace it. They're like under $20. And just to have the peace of mind knowing that it's actually going to work if you need it, that's important. And then you can take the old ones and use it as a fire outside and show them this is actually how you use a fire extinguisher, right? And you're not supposed to be a hero. You use it to get out of the house. If the fire's blocking your exit, you want to be able to get out of the home. That's what for, not trying to be a hero. You call 911 when you're out of the home. But furnaces, well, when the furnaces are working, there's a fire going on in there, right? So you don't want cardboard and different things shoved up against a furnace. The building codes are 3 feet. Everything's supposed to be minimum 3 feet. An emergency panel. Sometimes there's a table, there's a panel, and then there's a table in front of that. I'm fine with that. As long as you can and have access to it, that's fine. But for furnaces, make sure that your homes don't have everything shoved up against at least 3 feet away for safety reasons. I did a review the other day too. I know he's on here. I did, and there was a concern. We walked into a room and I could see burn marks on carpeting in the bedroom. And I'm just like, those are burn marks. I thought, well, you know, that's probably from a curling iron. I'm like, no, that looks like it's from an iron. You know, up on a shelf is a clothing iron. Somebody's ironing their clothes on the carpet and they're burning their carpet at least 10, 15 times. There was a lot of marks on there. So it's not like the resident did it one time and was like, oops, and quit. This person's continuing to do it and burning, and that could cause a fire. So, I mean, have stuff in place that should be immediately, and then maybe the laundry room, or have a designated space for people to iron their clothes and an ironing board or something. Know that this person's been ironing on their carpeting and almost starting a fire. They're burning the carpet, right? So, so just regular basis to make sure, doing room checks. The house manager should be looking at rooms. Are the rooms being cleaned or made? Oh, there's a burn mark, you know, something that you see and could draw a red flag. And so you can address that right away. So, happen, and it just doesn't take much, you know, and put your whole home at risk and stuff. So you know, we've got a few months to go, but usually I think March or April people start thinking about tornadoes and stuff, you know, drills, and there's a warning, you know, do they know that they need to go in the basement away from windows and that kind of stuff. Another been so crazy here in Michigan, but if the weather's really, really bad and freeze warnings or what to be out, then don't force them to go out and do a job search. You know, just say, hey, you guys, you know what, you can take today off because it's not 0 temperatures at the bus stop. So just think about stuff like that, and make sure they have salt for this. You know, it doesn't take much when the weather warms up a little bit and the snow's melting and the steps are just a layer of ice. And to make sure that they can keep that clear and somebody gets hurt, somebody's going to sue you. You know, people don't need a reason to sue anymore. It's like, try to make sure that there's prevention stuff in place for your home so that they can make sure that the walkways are clear and stuff. So does anyone have any questions about any of that? Anything you've had lately with any kind of safety issues that you've had to put in place? We got a few minutes left. Does anybody have anything they'd like to bring up? Anything going on with your homes? Anything new that you'd like to share? Don't make me call a name. Ooh.
I know one observation. I know one observation that I was going. Father who retired, but used to be one of the founding members of Recovery Road. When we first buying houses, it seemed like we were buying them for like $140,000. And looking around the Grand Rapids area, to get a nice bedroom, at least 2 full baths, you have to do like 300,000 or more. And it's like, oh my goodness, everything is double started. And
especially Grand Rapids too. I mean,
yes,
there's a lot
indeed.
of areas that have really gone up. The Grand Rapids market is have to buy a home to rent a home. You can lease
True.
your property.
Yeah.
So but if finding a landlord that, is educated, knows what a recovery residence is, a lot of landlords are like, heck no, I don't want a bunch of drug users in my home, that kind of stuff. But once they're willing to give you a chance and they see, oh my gosh, one of the cleanest homes on the block, the yard's maintained, I get paid on time every month, then they want you to rent all of their homes, right? So you don't have to buy. You can always lease your property, and landlords will lease if you do like a long-term lease, like a 2-year lease or a 3-year lease or something like that. Sometimes it's a better option. That way, when the roof leaks, you don't have to worry about that. All you have to worry about when you're leasing a home is paying the lease. So if you only have 3 guys there or 2 guys there or whatever, a lot of times it's more doable. But if you have a mortgage and house insurance and you've got, a furnace to replace and all this other stuff, it can make it more challenging for an operator. So I'm glad you brought that. It is very expensive to do that, but there are other ways to grow.
Yes.
You don't have to have a mortgage for it. Anybody else have anything they want?
Well, I could more other thing. I mean,
Right.
I have a lot of interesting things in my mind. I guess I could share for the last 3 minutes. My does a lot of the community outreach, but in January I've been assigning myself to do a little bit of outreach just to stay connected with the other side of the business, which is more people orientated. And I tend to be kind of naive because I'm always behind the curtain doing all the. I met with a church. I met with a church on one meeting, and then I met with another guy that does adult. I found, which is a little outside of what MARR covers, is there's people that are doing adult group homes, not only for people in recovery from substance use addictions, but there's other people that are starting to develop business for impaired adult people. I've met with one person that wanted to know how I do group people, because he wants to apply some of those principles towards I think for sexual criminal lists, and that there's a niche there. And he's like, these people need a home, but that he started doing that. He has like 5 houses, 50-bed capacity. And it's amazing that now that mental health and substance use health, that there's all these niche business models to populations in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And so if anyone wants to grow and add another little file, there's a lot of ideas out there for people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of operators don't even allow criminal sexual conduct individuals in their home and stuff, but they need a place to go too, Others that are going through the same thing, same rules, same thing apply. Makes sense.
Yeah, because they're finding that there's government agencies that are looking for these types of services, and there's different court systems and offices that they're all looking for service providers to help out, versus the old model of, well, let's just lock everyone that has a problem up in jail and forget about them. Mm-hmm. And so,
interesting. Well, thank you for sharing that. We all need to think outside the box, though, right? So it's like, do what you got to do. Keep your recovery residences going the way they are. But yeah, if you're looking outside the box, there's AFC home. There's different things that can. There's a different population that needs stuff all the time as well. So thank you. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow at 1 o'clock for the lessons learned. Even if you can stay for a part-term operator and you can share your wealth of knowledge with others, that would be very helpful. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.